Delighted to welcome Wojciech Cegielski. He's a war correspondent for Polish radio. Welcome
Hi, good
to
evening.
TVP
Hello.
World.
Good evening.
Good evening
and
to you.
Thank you for the invitation.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for taking the time. Now, there have been reports that basically Iran and Israel should call it quits. Iran, had to do something. It did something knowing that there wouldn't be much damage done to Israel. And that was part of Iran's game. Do you agree that that's where it should be left, or do you believe that Israel intends to retaliate?
I could agree in 100%. Of course, Israel would agree, would retaliate, because that's the nature of this kind of hybrid warfare. Hybrid because both countries are apart by 2,000 kilometers. So, for example, when last night, exactly 24 hours ago, Iran has launched this wave of drone attacks, Israel still had some time to prepare for this attack. If we could see on the details of this attack and the details of what has happened ahead of this attack, we could clearly see that Israel, yes, I agree, Iran had to do something. Israel had to do something and will have to do something. But it seems like both sides are trying to get out of the full confrontation, get out of the full-scale war in the Middle East, because there is one war in the Middle East, in Gaza, which is a war which can have multiple effects on the different countries and different regions throughout the Middle East. So, of course, Iranian regime has said that it was carried out exactly as they planned. They didn't said what is important, I guess, that the drones and the rockets and bombs have reached Israel's soil, because it have not, or most of them have not reached Israeli soil, because it was shot down over Syria. So, but they said, they concluded that the result was exactly the result that they supposed to have. So Israel killed Iranian generals in Syria. So Iran had to retaliate, not to be considered as a weak nation, as a weak regime by their own supporters and their own friends in the Middle East. And Israel right now has to get some kind of answer. What would it be? I would guess that it would be some kind of single incident. They could, for example, kill some of the some important person in Israel, in Iranian Revolutionary Guard, but that would be the end. Unless Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu would decide to in fact include Joe Biden and the US into the wider Middle East conflict. If Prime Minister Netanyahu would calculate that it would be some kind of argument and some kind of benefit for him. But I do not believe that something like this would happen. It really seems with this matter of the last 24 hours, that it was some kind of calculated response, so that no one would be hurt too much, and both of the sides could claim that they are the winners of the situation, and that's it. And
yes,
that's the end of the business day.
But I mean, it just so happens that these drones and missiles were shot down. I mean, there were 300 of them. And it is really quite fortunate that so little damage was done in Israel. So one could argue that Iran was being reckless. If all they wanted to do was send a message, then they could have done that by sending 20 drones instead, or 20 missiles instead of 300. But that's another matter. Just very quickly in the last few seconds, there are a lot of Palestinians who live in Jordan, and Jordan was one of the countries that shot down some of these drones that went into Jordanian airspace. Do you think that they might be perceived as pro-Israel, and might that cause an internal problem within Jordan?
I guess Jordan, since 20, 30 years at least, if not more, wants to see itself as kind of peacemaker in the Middle East. Jordan is, of course, the administrative country of the Jerusalem's old city. Jordan is a kind of a guardian of the agreement, so-called agreement, I would say, between Israelis and Palestinians. But Jordan closed its airspace also not to have the possibility that this conflict would somehow accidentally spread into the region. So, and Iran knows very well what kind of military capacities Israel has, both with the United States, which are very much involved, of course, in the Israeli air defense system, not only financially.
Yes.
So Jordan was one of the first to condemn Israeli attack on Gaza in retaliation for the Hamas attack on Israel on 7th of October. So Jordan wants to play a kind of a role of a peacemaker, of a
diplomatic role in the Middle East. Unfortunately, we're going to have to leave it there, Wojciech, but do come and see us again soon. Thank you very much for your insights.
Thank you for your time. Thanks.
Good night.